Learning spaces. Space, whether physical or virtual, can have a significant impact on learning. Formal and informal learning spaces aren't just created, they must be sustained and supported to bring lasting value. Learning spaces focus on how learner expectations influence such spaces, the principles and activities that facilitate learning, and the role of technology from the perspective of those who create learning environments. Information technology has brought unique capabilities to learning spaces, whether stimulating greater interaction through the use of collaborative tools, video conferencing, or opening virtual worlds for exploration. It is the teacher's role to adopt these new changes and encourage students to make the most out of the many great learning spaces available. And as students grow, it is important that they learn how to adapt to different learning environments to ensure positive learning. The classroom and the school. The layout of a classroom is sometimes regarded as unimportant in the effectiveness of teaching and learning. However, in order for successful teaching and learning to happen, research says that it is important to arrange classrooms in order to promote learning. Some of these include seating arrangements, space for movement, and access to instructional materials. Students should be easily seen by the teacher and see the instruction taking place. However, it is concluded that every classroom is different. It is very common today for classrooms to have a student-centered approach. This is through the use of open plan spaces. Students direct their own learning through collaborating and engaging in their learning with peers. An essential idea in regard to the physical aspects of schools and classrooms is that they must create spaces that students want to go. Victorian Institute of Teaching, 2010. Current pedagogical research does not prescribe open plan as the only way to teach in a contemporary way. It is up to the teacher to decide which type of learning space suits the needs of their students. The classroom and the school is important for teachers and students as it determines the success of both teachers and students, and these classroom environments foster creativity, positive curiosity, personal growth, and a drive to explore and acquire new insights. It is believed by students that teachers are responsible to establish this environment and often hold them accountable for the experience they have in the classroom, which would therefore put teachers in an important category in students' minds. Beyond the classroom. The learning process is enhanced when information is presented in context, which isn't necessarily a traditional classroom setting. The participation of a community of practice refers not to just local events of engagement in certain activities with certain people, but to a more encompassing process of being active participants in the practices of social communities and constructing identities in relation to these communities. As teachers, through the use of communities of practice, we can facilitate the learning of our students beyond the classroom setting. Beyond ticking off curricular requirements, excursions give a controlled adventure into the world outside the physical and safe bounds of school. For experimental and practical learning, excursions are a brilliant educational opportunity. Lorenza strongly believes that to enable and enhance the development of our students, we need to create opportunities for them to explore the social environment they live in. I think the concept of moving beyond the four walls of the classroom effectively steers away from the traditional and rigid ways of teaching and rather moves towards a more dynamic and collaborative process of learning using real-life stimulus and outside connections to the world. To make the most of the benefits of excursions or incursions, it is essential to undertake planned follow-up lessons. The electronic learning space. There are many advantages to incorporating technology into the classroom. E-learning promotes a new type of learning, teaches students to be self-directed, communicate with peers on a local and global scale, extend learning outside of the classroom, develop skills that will help them in the future, and engaging in 21st century learning. However, there are some disadvantages such as cyber safety. Teachers need to monitor what students are doing, are they on task, and technology can be expensive. Not every school and family has access to all forms of technology. The electronic learning space can provide students opportunities to collaborate with peers. share and retrieve information, and actively and interactively participate. Means classified educational technology into 4 categories: used as a tutor, used to explore, applied as a tool, and used to communicate. As the wide world of technology is always expanding, it seems logical that teachers begin to incorporate the use of technology into teaching and learning practices. There are endless opportunities with the technology, and in fact, technology makes the lives of teachers just that little bit easier. One of the most obvious reasons that iPads work so well in classrooms is because students love them. It is important to know that when used incorrectly, these devices will not maximise the learning of our students. Technological devices should not be used as a babysitting tool or lesson filler. Teachers must make sure that their students' minds are being stimulated at all times. The individual learning space. Mariam and Caffarella believe that as a process, self-directed learning is a form of study in which learners have the primary responsibility for planning, carrying out, and evaluating their own learning experiences. In the classroom setting, individual learning can be difficult as there are many distractions. The individual learning space is dependent on an individual's ability to change the environment and elements around them in order to make the most of the work being completed. One weakness of an individual learning space is not having the support of peers and teachers around to help develop and build on knowledge and discuss misunderstandings. It can also be difficult for learners to begin and continue with set tasks. As teachers, we must allow our students to become self-directed learners so that when individual tasks are given to students, they are able to complete them individually and with confidence. The group learning space. There are many strengths to a group learning space. Cooperative learning benefits all types of learners. Given students' views and ideas are accepted by peers, it helps increase their self-esteem. Given students are working in groups, communicating amongst each other, it becomes easier and also helps in gaining communication skills. By listening and accepting feedback from peers, students get to learn more about themselves and may even improve. Fosters students' responsibility for learning. Despite its non-exhaustive list of strengths, cooperative learning also has some weaknesses that hinder its application in many situations. However, some of these weaknesses may be overcome with proper planning and preparation. Lack of proper instructions and guidance may lead to unsocial behaviours, such as some students not participating. Lack of supervision may lead to the class making lots of noise and discussing unnecessary things rather than the topic to be learnt. Then cooperative learning becomes a waste of time. Advocates of open plan schools argue that students should be allowed to learn in ways suited to their individual differences, and that the most effective teaching and learning strategies allow teachers to work collaboratively with each other and team teach. The traditional classroom boxes with desks lined up in rows impede teachers' effort to work in teams and have students in the flexible and varied groupings necessary. Mark 2001. Learning in the 21st century. The traditional classroom is a practice of the past. The classrooms of the 21st century are forever evolving and developing, and it is up to the classroom teacher to adapt to these changes. In classrooms today, teachers must provide a learning environment that incorporates support systems for students to gain much needed life skills as well as academic skills. With technology rapidly changing, education is the essential key to survival in the 21st century. Fidel and Trilling, 2009. Teachers need to give students the skills and knowledge required in order to successfully master their own individual learning through the use of technology. iPads and other mobile technology are the now. Although they will play a part in the future, 4 years ago, the iPad did not even exist. We don't know what will be the current technology in another 4 years. The future is about access, anywhere learning and collaboration, both locally and globally. Teaching and learning will always be social. Working together with other educators through communities of practice will benefit both students and teachers in the future.